of the season. And I think, yeah, we've said it before, but big respect to them for doing that.
Yeah. I think the Fiora as well, just really... Oh, okay, we're actually on the Rift. A little cloudy on the Rift today.
PSG versus S9W on the cloudy Rift. We do have the very nice cinematic again. I love the cinematic
as well.
Okay, anyway, second match of the night. Let's not get too sucked in by the atmosphere. We are heading in. Yes, the veterans versus the rookies. Once again, we've got the storyline recurring from our first game of the night. S9W already doing some wacky level 1 stuff, grouping up as 5 in the bot lane. They're going to spot out Waco, but...
Okay.
Oh, was he going to get a first strike proc?
Oh, he got it. +5. That's
huge lead for PSG
GG right there.
What are your thoughts on these runes, especially in the mid lane? I think we see Rise taking the Scorch yet again over Gathering Storm.
Yeah, I think the Gathering Storm is a little better versus Syndra, honestly, but I don't think it matters too much. Although I am a little tilted that Rise has bone plating instead of second wind against Syndra. Amateur mistake, if I'm honest. Now, I am a little curious about the Varus Keystone. So obviously, Hail of Blades is stronger earlier. And now you can play the poke build with Comet or Hail of Blades. And I think if you're playing on here, you normally go lethal, right? So I'm assuming he's still going poke, but I actually don't know for sure.
Yeah, well, I think the longsword start does usually suggest that as well. Oh, S9W.
Yeah, actually, both bot lanes starting in lane.
Oh, that's not a good trade.
Oh, that does not feel that great, does it? I think that's a little bit better for the Nami team, I would think. Just because you got more sustain. Although, Varus Jhin should get priority. Yeah, that's very interesting start. Actually just holding the force shot, creating a lot of threat with it.
One thing about Lucian Nami bot is that a lot of people have the expectation that it's strong lane, right? Because it is. But level 1 is probably one of the points where they're the weakest because they really need a setup of like at least 2 abilities to be able to trade effectively. But despite that, S9W having an even weaker level 1 and ultimately coming down on that engage that they actually were going for in the first place.
Now, both junglers started topside and pathing down, so top lane is just going to end up as an island, and you have to feel like both bot lanes are going to be pressured here. That's kind of to be expected, I feel like, when you have 4 range champs in bot lane and they're heavy trading. It's just kind of the jungler's playground at that point. And will any camps be skipped to get bot earlier, or will we just see... Yeah, Lee actually cleared full 3 topside. Vi's entering the river already, so probably just, providing the vision, allowing them to keep pushing before going back to her cams. Mid priority looks pretty even as well. Both bot lanes have to know that junglers are around, have to trade with that in mind. And there's pretty low health bars already. I could definitely see a red buff Lee Sin looking for something here.
Yeah, this is definitely the first litmus test for S9W. Will they be able to pick up on the fact that Lee Sin is around and make sure that they're playing safe enough to avoid this gank? Getting a little bit of poke off. Ultimately, these trades are still going pretty even. Although it's important to keep in mind that S9W have burned through all of their potions already, so definitely on the back foot in this lane.
Yeah, Vi, I think, just has to sit here for the counter gank. They know that with Lee Sin nearby. Okay, but now can leave. So Lee Sin hits the plant. Vi's allowed to come up.
Ooh, S9W do have prior in the bot lane, but Ubel has it in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Kalimnia is walking over anyway.
I feel like this should be good for S9W. They are here early, but the Lucian Nami's on the way. This might actually be a 4v4 in the river for the crab. Nice and early.
This is... I don't like this for S9W.
Really? I think S9W have better tools in early game. Yeah, so everything connects onto the Lee, and it looks like he might go down. He flashes out very, very low.
Who's just so low, Kalimnia?
He gets it. He gets it. Okay, first blood. That is second blood of the season. I'm just kidding. I won't say it again. But anyway, yeah. So I think S9W, they had much better tools there. They've got the Syndra stun into the Jhin W. I think it's hard there to really start something as PSG because I feel like the way it starts is either you have to flash Nami bubble or you have to flash EW as Rise, and that really makes you vulnerable just to the follow-up that comes straight after. So yeah, I think it was a bit interesting perhaps to try contest there.
Yeah, I mean, good heads-up play from S9W. I wasn't fully convinced, but they made it work out. They found the sort of one ability, CC ability that they needed to land, and then unloaded all their damage onto Husha. And him burning the flash as well is going to be a huge detriment to him in this early game. It really reduces how much he's able to do, especially since he wants to target the mid lane. But
oh, the flashless Syndra actually does get picked up by Husha. So
wow,
that's actually the classic: burn your flash mid lane and get immediately ganked straight after. So I feel that guy's pain.
Yeah, it's like a reverse caster curse. I feel like what just happened.
Yeah. Now Syndra has TP, so it doesn't actually lose a whole lot for that. But Rise does manage to get critically to that Catalyst before Syndra can get to her Lost Chapter, so that's pretty big for the mid lane. I think Ryze is actually in a pretty good spot, even though Syndra managed to pick up a kill, and obviously Lee, getting that kill is really, really important, given that he was already starting to fall behind, so being able to stay in the game like that is nice. Now look at the bot lane items. Lucian actually has a Dirk already.
Wow.
So he's pretty strong at this point.
Yeah, I think one big plus that actually came out of the skirmish is that S9W actually get a pretty good opportunity to base and restore the health that they lost in those unfavorable early trades. So really lots of big wins for S9W, but despite that, the gold is still pretty much evened up thanks to Husha's heroics in the mid lane. He's looking for a return kill onto Calumnia, potentially. Oh, wait, go.
Okay, so he has to flank. Oh, the Nami bubble actually stops him. Cleanse was burned anyway. Does get out.
Definitely saved Waco's flash on that one. Good heads-up play from Woody. And it seems like both teams, once again, focusing pretty much all of the efforts on the bot side.
Hey, might actually see another river skirmish here. Hits the stun once again. You see the exact same combo coming out as before.
Oh, the realm warp.
They actually didn't lay the CC correctly. I think Vi could have held her Q just a little bit longer in order to cancel it, but Lee actually managed to get out with the... I mean, it was a pretty heads-up Ryze ult. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
I think the Ryze, you can see, right, with the Catalyst over, Syndra not having her Lost Chapter yet, does get a lot of control over mid. You can kind of just spam all your abilities of the wave, and Syndra doesn't quite have the ability to match it just yet. But yeah, narrowly avoiding giving over another kill.
I'm interested to see where both junglers pass now. Husha is a little bit ahead on tempo, gets his space off a bit earlier, and it looks like he's going to be passing straight towards the bottom river yet again. He hasn't had enough of that bottom river. Via, on the other hand, looking to go top side and maybe give Real here some love on the top side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Are PSG going to play for this dragon? Because I think they are pretty spiked at the moment. They have the Dirk on the Lucian. They know S9W is in
Look
base.
at that gold difference, okay. It's back and forth already.
What a roller coaster. So I think they do manage to just pick up this dragon here. I don't think that mid has any priority, neither does bot lane. This is going to be a dragon picked up, and I think this is... Yeah, this is pretty nice. I don't think it really impacts the game a whole lot, but at the same time, it's free. There's nothing wrong with taking it. Ryze actually is the most gold in the game, despite being down a kill. So, oh, just changed, but he was the gold demon there for a moment.
Fake news.
Fake news. Lee still hovering in this bot river. Vi might look to pressure towards this Herald that's spawning soon. Fiora looks like she's getting a fair amount of priority topside right now, so maybe we'll see them look towards the Herald.
Yeah, it seems like Rally is having a lot more success on the Fiora as opposed to the Jax from previously. Actually being able to trade out on this Cassante, quite a decent amount.
Yeah, I think you're still going to be weaker in any topside skirmish, but if you have so much priority that the Cassante can't come anyway...
Yeah, it's not going to matter, right?
Yeah, it can end up being fun. It's going to be hard, though, because Ryze should be generating a lot of priority mid. Actually goes for the Swifty boots, which is kind of interesting. I mean, the move speed is nice versus Syndra, but I would have thought Mercs versus Varus ult and Syndra stun would have been better, but... Okay, so Lee's actually looking to start this. They have the priority from mid. I feel like this should be contested. I think Vi's going to try cross mid. Now, they don't know that they're doing it yet.
Fear is sort of passing towards it. He doesn't have any camps, so I'm sure he's going to walk by Rift Hill, Husha already...
I think it might just be gone.
Wow, they're not even going to know.
They've actually brought up their bot lane first, so I think this is kind of a... This is a bit of a hustle from PSG. I feel like they shouldn't normally get that as freely as they did without like some kind of trade coming out from bot side, but they do manage to get it. So nice play from Husha, just starting that up, taking it out.
S9W just a little bit too slow on that move.
Now Fia might actually invade this red buff. They have invested a lot of tempo on that Rift Herald. Syndra, though, kind of struggling to be here, so might just have to walk away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Fear's meant to do here. He has that 6, so he does have the Assault and Battery up and available. But ultimately, just going to go back to his camps. Husha doing the same on the red buff. Kind of in a similar situation to at the start of the game, where pretty much everyone is probably going to be looking to hit up the bot lane at some point in the next minute.
Yeah, for now, everyone's just kind of relaxing and scaling. Syndra does have the first strike, so profiting a little bit off Ryze's misfortune. Actually is able to get a bit of priority, but is respecting the jungle gang quite a lot right now. Doesn't have the best vision in River, so kind of has to play as if Lee Sin is here, which is definitely a bad feeling, given the Lee Sin's in base. Syndra trying to take a little bit of vision. Now Vi actually shadowing bot lane.
Now this is really good because S9W's bot laners have both just hit 6, so YJY and carries going to have a lot of options. They need to hit that Varus first, though.
Yeah. Now, Nami is pathing mid out of base, so could actually just force a dive here, but all sums are up. And can they do this before Rise gets down with Realm Orb? I don't think so. I think they just have to back off here. Yeah, so Vi completes the base. Nothing going to happen here. There's just too much control coming from mid right now in order to really do anything about it. And Syndra should be feeling pretty pressured right now with her team off the map. And the enemy team definitely looking mid. Stun is used as well, potentially vulnerable.
Right, and a bit of a lull period here as the next Hextech Dragon is going to be coming up in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Now, who do you think is going to be stronger for this upcoming Dragon fight?
I feel like S9W should be a little stronger at the Dragon. I think, yeah, Rise doesn't quite have the Roa yet. Although, actually, he's TPing back. I'm not sure if he has it or not. I feel like he's not quite there yet. And I think the bot lane has double Dirks. I would think they were stronger, but I think a lot of it comes down to who hits that CC first. You know, like if someone just gets blown up, then it kind of just gets taken out anyway. And there's a lot of ways for both teams to start this fight at the moment, so...
Yeah, S9W really just need to hit one of their CC abilities and then the rest sort of pile up on top of that. But of course, it does depend on them positioning effectively enough, making sure that Husha can't find a flank and that they're not too close to Lucian Nami.
If you're in the wings here, but Husha's here as well. Actually spots him out. Okay, has the Herald. I feel like you can maybe get priority mid and look to go bot side with this Herald, or you might even just place Herald mid and use it to secure Dragon. I think that's one play you can definitely do if you feel kind of uncomfortable.
I'm a fan of that, and I feel like it does free up the wards that he needs as well because he doesn't have any pinks. And now he's got 2. He does drop a mid, and Clemnia is going to look for a base here as well. Most likely going to TP back to that mid tower.
Okay.
But, yeah, it looks like PSG are kind of in the driver's seat right now, although Husha has also based.
Yeah, Rise is actually really strong here. I mean, he's up a little bit of CS in a matchup where you maybe wouldn't expect to be ahead in, and then, yeah, is going to get the Roa right now, which is a reasonable timing. Actually, a pretty good timing considering that he went for boots so early. You know, a lot of the time people would just sit on, say, tier 1 boots before completing the Rod of Ages, but... Yeah, so pretty good timing on this.
Coming back around to the Dragon, it does feel odd that neither team really put much effort into resetting on time for this. The Dragon has just come up and S9W hitting it first, but members of PSG already...
Yeah, I feel like this is just S9's drag. I'm not sure they can contest. Lucian's not here. It's a 3 versus 4. Okay, actually just goes for the Smite Steal, but does not get it. Yeah. So I feel like there wasn't much more you could get here. Fiora's actually getting a lot of work done in this top lane. Like, it hasn't really converted into anything yet. Like, there's no CS lead, there's no plates lead, but it's a really good sign that this is happening so early.
It only gets better for the Fiora, right?
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, lots of resets coming through. The PSG is going to have pressure on the map at the moment. Might use this Rise priority to go somewhere, maybe pressure this bot tower. Although with all the sums up, it feels pretty hard to actually make a play. This tower might start to take a little bit of damage. Yeah, Fiora's going to start gobbling up a little extra. It gets altered. Wow, he's taking a lot of damage on the way out. Parries, and I think he's going to be able to leave, but takes a huge amount of damage. Oof. Maybe it's going to be forced into a reset here, which, yeah. Close it actually does have the honey fruit, but it is a lot of lost pressure in the meantime.
Yeah.
Stante just hits level 11.
Nice attempt from Magi, but ultimately not quite enough to take down Rel here, as he's going to claw his way back to that top wave. He does get his base off first, though. Yeah,
so actually staying in lane. Now, there might be some sort of river fight here. Right now, it's a 3v3. Both mids haven't really moved yet, but Rise can get here very early with his ult. Feels like nothing is really going to happen if people just keep playing respectfully. And they're perhaps looking for something. Syndra is pathing the long way around, but nothing is going to start up.
It's so interesting to see both teams playing so heavily into the spot side because they know that both teams' 4v4s are pretty damn strong, and they're both looking to try and come out on top of that, but...
Yeah, so Herald is the next objective, spawning in about 45 seconds, I believe. Actually, 7 seconds. A bit shorter than 45. Lee is going to be on this pretty much straight away, and I think this is gone. Vi is instead playing for the trade bot side. I think you kind of have to force something here as Vi for the trade, but at the same time you can't because you don't have any mid prior.
Well, they go on the Nami.
Ooh, I think went a bit too wide with the VIQ. I'm not even sure if you can do something here, though. Without the mid priority, there really just is no good trade here. Feels like you're really suffering from this mid matchup, which feels weird because Rise was first picked. So if you can't mention... Like, obviously, getting priority into Rise is difficult. But, I mean, you get to see him so early in the draft, you can make things really difficult for him. And Rise is single-handedly preventing S9W from making any trade for Lee just starting this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and he hasn't even really had to do any crazy roams or anything. He's kind of just getting prio, and that's sort of enough to dissuade any aggressive actions that S9W are trying to make. Carries on the top side here, looking to try and catch up Husha, but...
Takes away the red. Now, he has flash, but there's a Cinder Stun coming through. Okay, the flash comes out, and he is out. Now, Rise might be actually out of position here.
Ubel.
Ooh. Feels like he might have been able to be collapsed on, but I think people didn't know exactly where Nami and Lucian were there. We might see the lane switch pretty soon. Or maybe into... Maybe just go back to standard assignments. We'll actually see. But we have the second Rift Herald, and I feel like that should go mid. You'll probably just finish up breaking this mid tower, and it's pretty hard to take a tower from Syndra without Herald. So, yeah, I think either you play for a kill bot, Herald straight after, or you just drop the Herald mid. I
agree. I feel like mid is the place where you're going to get the most value out of it, because it does open up the map a lot. But in saying that, they do have the Dragon coming up soon as well. So they're potentially looking to hold off and wait until that is a bit closer to spawning.
Yeah, so they're a bit ahead in gold, and they're looking to start this, but I'm not sure if this is their drag. Nami is taking quite a lot of damage here before the fight starts. Has some sustain, though. I feel like S9W still has much better tools for actually beginning fights. I think if you're PSG here, you just focus on pushing this mid wave, taking this tower. You can zone them out. They shouldn't be able to walk through here without taking too much punishment. Syndra stun is down.
But he does have the tidal wave.
This. I think this mid tower dies here, which I think you're really happy with as PSG. Even if you don't end up getting Dragon here, you're really happy with what you've got out of this. Opens up the map a lot. And also, it's a lot easier to control this river with the mid lane tower down.
S9W still holding on to all of their key ultimates for now, and it looks like they are going to secure River Prio here. Potentially PSG are going to look to give this, which is, I think that's a fine trade. It's still quite an early Dragon, so it's really no harm, no foul, but they're actually going to base.
Yeah, so the drag's still not up for 30 seconds. There's just, yeah, they were all posturing around it, but no one's ready to fully, stay on the map, fully commit to it. Actually get another round of resets before coming back to it. S9W do have control of the river right now. So they might just look to start it straight away. I think they might... Rise's reset is sort of late, but I think he has TP. I feel like you could contest this. Cassante is pretty strong right now, although if you bring him to this fight, you're probably giving up a top tower for it. We'll see. Dragon is up now. Bot wave is being ignored until Rise gets there. There's going to be a contest on this mid wave, but I think S9W have really good tools for punishing this.
They're looking for it. Or they're just going to walk up and secure the Prio for themselves.
Yeah, Rise actually opts to just ignore side wave and try and group. I'm not sure if that's the best play. I feel like Rise doesn't add a whole lot to the ARAM. Cassante is actually maybe moving down the map. Okay, is moving down the map and is going to look to TP back top after. So they are fully committing to this fight. I think because Cassante is here, PSG is probably advantaged.
I think it's really important for S9W to keep control of this pixel bush because it gives them so much space to use their ultimates with, and the fact that they've just given it over.
Ooh, actually gets the kick. Rise has a really nice flank. Cinder just goes down straight away, and Cassante is doing Cassante things on the back line. The Rise Realm Warp comes through. Pretty much everyone from S9W is going down, and this is a quick 3-0 perhaps. 4 doesn't get another one. He's very low. Rise as the flash takes him out.
Oh no.
Wow, so that's a 4 for 0. I think once the Cassante comes down, it's pretty much gone. I think if you're Fiora in this situation, there's no point even grouping. You know that your impact in the team fight is going to be so much lower than Cassante at this point. I think your best bet is just to trade that top lane tier 1, give up this drag. It's only the second drag, it's not a huge deal. If Fiora can snowball off that, it'd maybe be better, but instead, trying to take this fight where Cassante is at 2 items is just so much stronger than any of the carries from S9W.
This is, really just disaster overall for S9W. They committed a lot to that, but ultimately they weren't able to find any sort of footing. They did. I feel like the key part in that was giving up that pixel bush control, because as soon as PSG are able to secure that control, it gives them it gives S9W pretty much no room to work with. You'll see that they are kind of hitting the dragon and not really caring too much about where PSG are. Husha does find a pretty nice 3-man kick on 3 members, and that is what sort of sets it up for the rest of the team. Ubel coming in on the flank as well. And 3-man Cassante stun as well. That champion is crazy.
Yeah, I think if you're S9W here, you really have to try almost win the fight before it starts, either by keeping Cassante away with Fiora or like landing poke with your Jhin, your Varus, and your Syndra or something like that. I feel like if it just goes to a straight 5v5, PSG heavily outperforms, and you kind of saw that in that fight there. Ryze and Lucian managed to put out so much more damage, and the Cassante obviously much more useful than the Fiora.
Yeah, because PSG, when the fight starts, they have a lot of different ways they can approach it, whereas S9W, they are pretty much solely relying on finding that one pick and blowing them up to ensure that there is no 5v5 that can happen. But as soon as PSG are able to close that gap, it's pretty much a certain game over for S9W.
Yeah, I think also, not just game over in terms of the fight, this makes the actual game just very difficult for S9W. If you fall behind as like the Varus and Jhin here, you can never damage Cassante, you can never damage Lee Sin. So now you're really on the back foot. You have to make picks, you have to try, again, find a way to win that team fight before it starts, because just having a straight up 5v5 is not going to work.
Exactly.
I don't think this pick, the pick on the Lee doesn't look like it's going to achieve much. Syndra actually doesn't have flash and is out on the side. Fia is really far in. I think he's just dead.
Columbia taking Husha pretty low. Does get picked up by YJY.
Walker's being chased down by the Fiora. I mean, this is just ADC life. Scary. Maybe he can get saved by Cassante. I think he can be. Ooh, the Cassante ult comes down. Fiora has W still, but I think it's going to get cleaned up.
Got YJY
very, very, very low.
Well, here.
Now, the jungler's dead. Can they turn to Baron? Probably not. Ooh, and Fiora's actually going to get out. Wow, so that fight actually ended up being extremely close, which is
1-for-1.
Sort of surprising. I feel like S9W kind of got away with it there. I'm not too sure how that happened. I think Lee committed onto the Syndra and didn't actually get any follow-up, and then wasn't really able to deal with himself. And so the Syndra just ended up sort of uncontested, like with no more threat onto her.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty disjointed engage, kind of from both sides. We saw sort of Columbia and Husha doing their own thing by Krugs, and then the rest of the teams doing their own thing around the tri-bush. So a lot of random stuff happening there. But Carey's, I saw his curtain call towards the end of that when Aurelio was getting chased down, and it feels like it was just barely like mispositioned. He was like just out of range so that his ult bullets weren't actually doing much. Let's take a look at this replay. We see Fear going on Husha, who in turn tries to find a Q onto Columbia.
Yeah, so I think Husha just kind of, if we pay attention to Lee Sin, just kind of doesn't have any follow-up and doesn't have the damage on his own. And so the junglers just end up trading lives for nothing, really. And then Lucian spends the whole time having fun running away from the top lane demon. Does have to... Actually, a lot of sums were burned. The Lucian flash, the Nami heal.
Yeah, you can see it's just not close enough. These guys, PSG, can hover along that outer river wall and not be in danger at all.
And we're back straight into the action. Fiora is looking for some trades here, but Fiora not in the side lane. I don't think it's favorable for her. Dragon's in a minute 20, and they are looking to contest this mid wave. Ryze is getting a lot done bot lane, has TP up, and no one's there to contest him. In fact, Ryze is actually up 2 levels over the Syndra.
As well.
Now, they might look for the engage with Ryze not here, but he has TP. Engaging on the Cassante is never going to give you a kill. The Nami ult comes through.
Oh, curtain call.
Oh, huge damage onto Husha.
They're all low.
They have a very, very low... Oh, I think they're actually all going to get taken out here. Ryze gets to the fight, but it's extremely late, and there's 2 members dead. I feel like you have to force Baron here.
Wow,
Cassante doesn't have TP. I think this might just be Baron going over. I feel like Ryze got to this fight way too late.
Can
they 2v5 it?
Wake up getting down a lot of damage on the carry.
Huge damage coming through. They might just be too low to actually finish up this Baron. Cassante's here on half HP, which is basically 2 health bars anyway. They actually managed to stop that. I feel like maybe they should have committed to that.
Really? I feel like S9W should never have gone for that Baron in the first place. Ultimately, they used most of the ultimates that they needed. They gave them the range to be able to zone PSG off, and without those, Waco can just walk up like you just saw and drop the cut on them.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. They don't have a lot of DPS. It is pretty much only the Leandri, Syndra, and the Fiora that really damage the Baron. And without the turning tools, yeah, I think you're right. It's probably too hard to do the Baron. Yeah. But either way, they managed to reset.
It does suck though, because they do miss out on a bit of tempo from that sort of, I guess, miss execution of the Baron fight. They do manage to get this river control for now regardless, but I'm not too sure they'll be able to wrestle mid prior.
Just coming back to another 5v5 on mid wave. Yeah, Husha is spotted out on the side, gets Syndra stunned, but will there be any follow-up? Does not look like it. Lucian's actually finishing up the red buff. And will be here. Flash comes out from Varus, but he's flashed on by Ryze, and there's no cleanse. Ryze just actually one-shots him.
This is so bad.
Fiora's trying to poke on the side, but can't really find anything, and is actually just going to die here. I think she's kind of in no man's land. Just gets killed.
Wow.
I think this could be Dragon and Baron here. PSG definitely not lacking for DPS. In fact, could even just give the Dragon and do Baron.
That is a disaster for S9W. They got S9W'd by PSG.
They did.
They found the one pick on the Varus, who was just that little bit out of position. It comes back to what we said earlier in draft, right? It is a composition with a pretty high bar for execution, and as soon as you misstep once, it becomes so much harder to pull off what you want to. This curtain call.
Wow, it actually does no damage to Cassante. Literally none. This Baron is going to go over unless it's stolen somehow, and the Baron going down is a really, really big issue for S9W. It's going to make your Fiora pretty useless. The poke champs going to really struggle with clearing the waves, and I feel like Rise is about to have a field day with his Baron buff.
After finding a pretty good pick back into the game, S9W aren't able to really turn that into anything conclusive as PSG pull ahead to almost a 6k gold lead, 5k. Close enough. I think that the gold lead is super important in this game specifically because there's a certain sort of benchmark where if S9W unload all of their stuff onto one person and aren't able to kill them, then their team composition is effectively useless, right?
Yeah, so let's have a look at this replay. I feel like the Varus was just positioned a bit too far up, actually was just able to get flash EW by the Rise, and there was just like no pure left for him, and the Rise actually does so much damage here, pretty much just kills him on his own. And then Fiora really tried to look to salvage something off the back end, but ultimately just ends up kind of behind enemy lines and nowhere really to go. I think it's really difficult to play this game as Fiora. I feel like you have to be in the side lane at the same time. You really want to contest these fights, and you can see the frustration.
S9W, at least they don't lack wave clear. You know, they've got the Syndra, they've got the Varus, they've got the Jhin, but PSG are just going to look to other lanes. And this Baron buff just means that Rel here is going to find it so much harder to find anything in the side lane, which makes it become more likely that he's going to be forced into a 5v5 he probably doesn't want.
Yeah. Fiora is going to be able to find anything here for a while, and I think PSG probably just back off and pick up their third Dragon here. So it's not going to be the most impactful Baron, but it's still pretty nice. Like, you're still getting a drag, you're still going up a bit of gold, and you really neutralize Fiora for the next 3 minutes or so. Okay, so this drag gets picked up.
It's really rough for S9W from here. PSG picking up their third Dragon now, the next one, Ocean Soul sporting. And it feels like they're on, well, I wouldn't say they're on a timer, but I feel like as the game goes on, it becomes a little bit harder to look for those missteps from PSG, especially since they are a roster that has a considerably higher amount of experience than S9W, right? They've played out a lot more of these late game scenarios where they know where the common missteps are, and they are a lot less likely to make those mistakes themselves.
Yeah, 100%. I really like the Zhonya's purchase from Rise. I think it's really good against the lethality builders, and also you can just Zhonya the Syndra ult. So I think it does a lot for you here, and like you said, S9W, they kind of need to unload everything onto one person and take them out in order to win this game. But I think, you know, the tankiness on the Cassante, the Lee, and now the Rise as well, it's really limiting your options to pretty much just this bot lane as people you can actually start the fight onto.
And Lucian has cleanse as well, so it's really just down to Woody or Na'Vi.
Gold lead continues to build here. Fiora's actually looking for something on the side lane, but Cassante might just win this.
So much damage coming out from Agi.
Oh my god. Okay, I think we have to stop giving this champ over, because I really think that the level of execution you have to have in order to beat this champion is just too high. And even then, like, why make the game that hard for yourself? I feel like Cassante he is just broken. I've never seen this champ lose.
It is crazy, right? How you can just turn from this unkillable tank that takes no damage to an unkillable bruiser who does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Why not both, right?
Exactly. I mean, I feel like the solo laners have kind of just been pretty heavily outperformed. I feel like the Fiora hasn't really found any way to be impactful. She's just kind of grouped for every team fight, and the team fights haven't gone their way. And I think the Syndra as well had the counter pick on mid, but just never really got priority with it in the mid or in the early game. And then the Lucian Nami kind of just got to breathe, and yeah, now we're here. The Syndra does have Rabadons now, though, so like, definitely a force to be reckoned with at this point, although it might be too little too late.
I just don't know where S9W are going to find the pick that they need. It seems like PSG are doing a really good job of pressuring the whole map and really just piling the pressure onto S9W. We've got the Baron coming from 1 minute 40 as well. Now, it's hard for PSG to face check in S9W, but I think it goes both ways as well. PSG have, they have the Rise route, they have Lee Sin to kick you back where you don't want to be. And not having this control to start with is really terrifying because we know that eventually they're going to have to walk in.
Yeah, actually very Chad play from PSG to just be pressuring all 3 lanes at once, especially with Nami still in the base. Obviously, S9W don't know that, so they're just continuing to pressure everything and get further and further ahead. It happens.
That one hurts.
Now, next drag, the 4th dragon is in 2 minutes, and I think if you're S9W, you have to fight this. The Ocean Drag is too much to give over, especially if you're playing a more poke-esque comp. At the same time, though, I don't see them winning a fight. I really think the only way is for Syndra just to hard carry it, and there's so much threat onto Syndra at this point. Oh my god, what an absurd amount of damage onto the Jhin. Forced to burn both his Sums and the Varus heal before the key dragon fight. It's just going to make it more and more difficult.
Waco's heading off. He's level 15. He's got the first strike damage. He's got the quick blades as well. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was actually disgusting. Okay, so I think it'll be interesting to see here. Will PSG just look to pressure this Baron straight away, or are they going to play it safe and just get this Dragon in a minute? Because I feel like S9W have no way of contesting the drag. And if they want to contest the Baron, they're going to have to kind of face check this area. Maybe push too far up, the Cinder Stun comes through, but no one can really damage Cassandra. I mean, that was pretty much full combos used. And there he is on 90% health still.
Yeah, I think PSG have realized that as well. This guy is pretty much unkillable, so they're just putting him in the front, soaking up all those abilities, and that just gives them more windows of opportunity to look for.
I think if you're PSG, you could honestly just like pressure Baron and then Realm ult or Rise ult to the drag, or you can even just 2-man this and have the others kind of play defense. Okay, the Vibe flashes forward, but does not have vision of the Lucian and is not going to find the angle. I think S9W are just going to get taken out here.
He does find the ult onto Agi, but
okay, Cassandra actually died. Not something I would have thought I'd see this game.
S9W actually almost turning it around.
Yeah, but I don't think they have anything left in the tank. I think the Rise might just be uncontested here. Can kind of just deal with anyone.
They do get the Zonias. I think that should back off.
The Lee goes in, gets the kick onto the Varus. Lots of damage coming in from the Lucian. Flashes forward. The Varus flashes over the wall. Doesn't quite get taken out. Oh my god, it was very close fight. I think they could turn back to Baron. There are TPs up, but they have a lot of DPS. They can probably just do it in time.
Well, he does have TP available. He's going to be looking for that. That's coming down really fast.
I think the Baron's gone. I think you have to turn towards Dragon here. And I'm still not sure you can actually contest it. If you're PSG, I think you just walk to drag. Okay, they're going to play it safe. They're going to base. I think this does mean Dragon going over, though. Yeah, okay, so Dragon is going to go over, but PSG, I think they're fine with that.
That Baron is really, really big for them because they've already been pressuring 3 lanes so well. Imagine how devastating that's going to be for S9W when they've got the Baron-empowered minions as well.
Okay, so a little bit of extra gold, kind of a consolation prize going over to S9W, but down 7k gold, and I feel like this is the Baron that really is a nail in the coffin. So let's look at the replay. I feel like this almost started well for S9W. When Vi flashed forward and lost vision of Lucian, oh my god, that's so sad. But then the Cassandra actually died. I'm not sure what to. I guess he just got blown up by Syndra or something. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so he got executed by the Syndra ult, and that actually almost made the fight playable. But the problem is there's just not a lot of damage left. Syndra doesn't have her ult. A lot of cooldowns have been used. Lucian just finds the Vi on the side, and then just manages to go forward, kind of clean everyone up. Everyone's just like forced a bit too low. Yeah,
it's really rough. They did manage to pop one person, and somehow it was the Cassandra, but even then, once they've burned all these ults, it's really hard to figure out what to do next, because you're just going to get out damaged by PSG. You have a bit more consistent damage without their ultimate abilities.
Yeah, Syndra is starting to do some pretty ridiculous damage. This is the only one really capable of dealing with Cassandra right now. I think this top tower goes down. Lee is also pressuring mid, so they're probably going to look for at least 2 inhibs here. Could even Realm Warp to bot after if they were feeling...
Yeah, that bot wave is stacking up as well. It's ready.
So it's hard for Lee to actually get anything done here, but can just keep buffing the minion wave. So Lee's going to swap with Ryze. Ryze can do a lot more into Fiora, and also can Realm Warp top lane. And Lee's just kind of going to hover between them. S9W... Syndra's going to take a lot of damage here. Does have flash, but loses half her health bar.
Tidal Wave not being available is huge. Carries pops the curtain call. Isn't going to find too much.
I'm not sure anything's going to come of it, though. Yeah, so the curtain call's kind of wasted.
Oh, Hush has got the Q.
Ooh, people are getting low. There's a Rise ult. There was a flash Nami Q forward, but it didn't get anything. They're going to end up taking this inhib, I think. Why
Fia
actually looking for the engage,
Waco.
finds on Lucian, but I don't think there's any follow-up. Oh, he actually gets taken out. The Syndra ult kills someone in there. Cassante is on the backline with no Syndra ult up. I'm not sure anyone can actually deal with him.
I've
He's
seen
just
this one
unstoppable
before.
and killing everyone. I think the game is just over. Rise picks up the Fiora kill. I think once that Syndra ult is used forward, even if you get the kill, the problem is then there's nothing for Cassante. I really feel like they're just kind of too far behind. Syndra ends up going down.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Actually really just waltzing in after everything's been used and just, you know, being like, hey, I've got my all out, I'm coming in, I'm cleaning up your whole team. And PSG looking like they're going to take out their first match of the split. Padding stats a little bit. Let's see if they can find YJY. I don't think they will. Oh,
I think they might.
Oh,
he goes down. He has a crabby mode as well. I'm a big fan of that. Wow. PSG solo lane domination, I would say.